5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello humans, this is Retro Rocket Man with another custom transformation. Found another Titan Hero Series Hulk made by Hasbro. In a previous video I transformed this same figure into the Batman. This time around I reckon he's got the potential to be turned into Hellboy. I found him at my local op shop for $2.99. So with a bit of sanding and a bit of fiddling, I reckon we'll turn him into something totally different. First of all, I'm going to roughly mark out the areas on the Hulk that I want to change or alter with a Sharpie, just to get an idea of what he's going to look like. So I'm just marking out his mutton chops and his hairline, where I intend to sand it back to. So using a Dremel and a round head sanding tool, I'm carefully sanding back, smoothing out his hair because I need more forehead. Just removing any of the loose particles and giving it a light sand with some sandpaper just to smooth it out a tad to get that Hellboy look that I'm after. This is a product called Milliput. It's from England and it's a two-part epoxy that you knead together in equal parts until you get a consistent colour and texture to the putty. And it's quite good, quite easy to use. So by wetting your fingers, you can reduce the stickiness and smooth it out. Just filling in the forehead area just to make it a bit smoother and easier for later sculpting. Seems to have the consistency of plasticine, and by wetting your fingers you can smooth down any bumpy areas and help blend it into the other parts of the figure. Now I'm sculpting the mutton chops and just creating the hair texture with a skewer, and this looks quite effective. Now for just a couple of balls of Milliput, place in just the right position and then sculpt it onto the forehead. He's already starting to look a lot like Hellboy, only green. And on the back of the hair, because it was basically just squared off, I'm just putting some rat's tails on. And now for the right hand of doom, sculpting the forearm piece onto there and also putting the texture onto the hand as I've sculpted over the original fisted hand. And I'm just using a pin to create the cracks and crevices. Filling in the toes because I need to make boots for his feet instead of bare feet, and I'm using just a worm of milliput to create the top of the boot, and then blending it into the leg. Again, it's a lot like plasticine. It's quite easy to use, and by smoothing it out into the ankle, I'm creating a boot. Filling in the pants to finish them off, and here you have a rough finish, so you get a good idea of how much he's changed from the Hulk to Hellboy. The hand is still articulated, so I can still rotate it. The arms still rotate forward and back. You can see the boots with the laces and the toes finished off, the bottom of the pants. I still have to do the soles for the boots, and I'm using just a packing foam, and I'm just going to trace around this and cut it out and then glue it on. Now that the packing foam's glued to the bottom of his feet, I'm roughing out the tread patterns, and I'm just going to carve this out with a sharp knife and then paint it down the track. Drilled a hole in his butt for his tail to poke through. This is just a bit of garden tubing with a wire stuck in it, so it makes it bendable. And I'm just forcing it in. I'm not actually gluing it in place because I can reposition it down the track for posing, going to finish off the end of his tail with some milliput down the track. This is a cable tie I'm going to use to double for his belt. So I'm just cutting the tab off the end, and then I'll position it and glue it together around his waist. In the meantime, I've sculpted a belt buckle and a couple of pouches, and this is the general finish, general look before painting. So now I'm up to doing the undercoat, where it's all going to bring him together, take away these stark colours from the green and the purple, and then he will stop looking like the Hulk and look more like Hellboy. So just hitting him with a grey primer to help the painting process down the track. And here we have Hellboy in a monochrome. I think it's come up quite well so far. Doesn't resemble the Hulk anymore. Now to give him that iconic red look, and I'm using a crimson acrylic, and with a fine soft brush I'm just covering all those exposed areas where he's supposed to be red. And under these camera lights he looks quite bright, but in actuality in hand he's a bit darker. Painting the whites of his eyes very carefully. This is a very delicate part of the process, but it turned out okay in the end. Also, teeth, stark white. This is quite a dramatic contrast to his red skin colour. Time to paint the hair in a black, and this will bring all the sculpt together and make his hair look more uniform, more acceptable. And he also has black pants and black boots. So not a lot of colours going into Hellboy, but still quite a dramatic finish. Weathering his hand of doom with some shoe polish just to bring out all those cracks and crevices, and also make it stand slightly apart from the rest of his body. A little bit of weathering on his ground down horns. So there you have it, fellow humans. This is my transformation of a Hulk into Hellboy, and I'm really pleased with the way this turned out. Probably one of my best ones yet. So this is Retro Rocket Man signing off, and I'll see you in the next one.